couple of weeks ago, there was an incident on an El Al flight. I don't know if you guys heard. There was an El Al flight that got stuck on the runway in New York, JFK. And it was flying at a time where it would reach Eretz Yisrael before Shabbat. But they had such a long delay on the runway, where now if they would have taken off, they would have reached Eretz Yisrael on Shabbat. El Al can't fly on Shabbat. They don't fly on Shabbat. Right? That's one of the rules they have. But I guess when it comes so close, they'll do what they have to do. They were on the runway, and the passengers that realize that it's cutting it very close, they come to the pilot and come to this distance. They go, listen, we're not going to make it before Shabbat. So listen, we don't want to be on this flight anymore. We want to go back to the gate. They had already left the gate. They were on the runway. It was like a 5-hour delay. It was a very long delay. Imagine all these passengers, all nervous. They're on a flight that's going to reach Israel on Shabbat. They don't want to be Halal Shabbat, you know. And there was a whole craziness going on where the pilot at the end tells everybody that, don't worry, sit down, everyone fasten your seatbelts, we're going back to the gate. What happens? He tells them he's going back to the gate. What does he do? He takes off. It hits the news that Haredim, religious Orthodox Jews, were causing a ruckus because of Shabbat, and they were causing fights and stuff like that. Luckily, thank God, there was someone from a reporter on the flight itself, right? And many people recorded videos on the flight itself, and they proved the Haredim were not doing anything. They were rarely even raising their voice. And they were very upset that they're trying to blame the Orthodox Jews on causing problems when they were not. In fact, they were actually told, if you get off the flight now, you're going to lose your ticket. What did they say? Look at this Kiddush Hashem. They all said, it's okay. We'll lose the ticket. Just take us back to the gate. We don't want to fly on Shabbat. They didn't cause any problems. However, the plane takes off. Everyone gets very, very upset. Now they have the recordings between the flight deck and the gate where the pilot tells them, we're going to take off, when the pilot tells everybody else that they're not going to take off. Something like that goes on. You could read about it. I'm following it. But then there was an apology from El Al saying, we're very sorry that we blamed it. We never blamed it on the Haredi Jews, Orthodox Jews. It was a mistake, yada, yada, yada. There was a lot that was going on. Baruch Hashem, it was all resolved. What happens? Midway, because they realize they're going to land on Shabbat, the pilot decides he's going to land in Athens. What? Greece, Athens. What happens? They land, and the pilot himself, credit to the pilot, he calls the Chabad over there and tells him, we have 150 passengers coming in for Shabbat, they need a place to eat. El Al gets them hotels, Baruch Hashem, and the Chabad over there, within one day in the morning, they set up an entire meal, 2-3 meals for Shabbat for 150 people. These Jews, these people that were there, some of them have written articles that they had the most wonderful, the most amazing Shabbat of their lives. Imagine the achdut, the unity, that they sacrificed so much for Shabbat. Such Kiddush Hashem. They were all together and they were all writing articles that no one was fighting, no one even hated the El Al crew. They were all so nice to the El Al crew, they were so appreciative. It was achdut beyond belief. Right? So I was thinking, as I'm reading this, why did all of this happen? You know, for them wanting to not be Mechalel Shabbat and the pilot takes off, it's a crazy thing to do. There's so many, you're not dealing with Haredi Jews. You understand what I'm saying? You're dealing with regular Jews. There are some regular Jews that don't keep a lot of stuff, but they don't do a lot of things on Shabbat. They don't drive, they don't want to be on a flight on Shabbat. You don't have to be Haredi, religious Orthodox, not to want to fly on Shabbat. There's a lot of people that don't fly on Shabbat. There was a lot of people upset. So they land in Athens. Why? Why did all this happen? Until this week, it came out. Look, and in the parashiot that we are in, parashiot Yosef, it's Miketz and Vayeshev, all the things that Hashem plans, where you don't see the outcome yet, and then poof, it hits you in the face. They were trying to build a mikveh in Athens, and they didn't have enough funding. Out comes a lost plane, El Al flight, with 150 Jews. That Shabbat, they collected, I think, $26,000 from people on that flight to build the mikveh. This is not happening 1,000 years ago. This happened 2 weeks ago. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu literally reroutes, makes people crazy, makes the pilot take the flight when he's not supposed to, when everyone is agreeing to lose their money, they don't care, they just want to get off the flight, they still go. And then he has to plan all of this on his own, get Chabad to make a meal, for them to stay there, and then El Al's paying for hotels. All this happens, why? Because there needs to be a mikveh in Athens. That's how HaKadosh Baruch Hu works. Like they say, Yeshuat Hashem keheref ayin. When Hashem wants to do something, when Hashem wants to save someone or something that matters, it's like a blink of an eye. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you guys are all going crazy, thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Why are we on this flight? Why is this happening? I have other plans. Like Yehuda. Say, Reuven was besako, ubta'anito. Reuven was mourning for one thing. Yosef was mourning because his brothers were selling him. Yehuda was so upset that his brothers are looking down on him now because of the decision he made to sell Yosef. What was Hashem doing? He was planting the seeds of Moshiach for Paretz to be born. You never know when Hashem is, but everything is planned out. Hashem always give us the zechut